Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have a 1v1 for you guys today against the Sergeant Major Ghost 2244. Now this was a friendly game, this was not a ranked game, it was on Mudfight, and Ghost, you should have seen recently in some of my videos talking about different ways to handle tough jungle. He's a very solid player, and I'm taking a bit of an unorthodox opening here, so I'm playing as Finland National, just because, why not? Including the Jet Ranger, which is not that often seen, I guess, but had exceptional optics, which I wanted in my opening, and I'm going a full moto opener into what's often named the Suicide Town, part of the map between Anna and Dimitri, along with having a fair spread of units over on the other side, so Erquez Yegri over here just for their recon and their anti-everything if it gets close enough capabilities. MiG-21 BIS also does take down a Lynx, and you'll see this MiG quite a lot today. It really got a lot of work done. I was very happy with it, but not having super heavies, not having really any tank presence in Dimitri at the start is an interesting choice. Highlanders, by the way, get absolutely melted by the sheer weight of fire here, so KTs, Musties, Raskas, and Korima, all of that doing some pretty good work, and we, well, pretty well deny Ghost this town, even though he has a Challenger 2 right there. He's going to be moving back, he's going to be smoking his equipment and his units and all of that, trying to make sure that I don't hit him with spike teams or ATGMs, any sort of thing there. Now on the right hand side I have a Pion moving up. It's a little bit of an expensive call, but for 75 points as a stealth tank it can really deny a lot of advances over on the right hand side, although I kind of do prefer doing this with two 25-point recon tanks. The 15-point ones for Finland really aren't that capable even when double stacked, so that's the explanation for the Pion. And I do have a second Pion here as well, just trying to deny Ghost any sort of forward recon, because these little lines are incredibly common to be exploited by both sides of the map to put their recon there to keep things sort of visible that shouldn't be, or that the other player doesn't want to be visible. But there's a Challenger 2 right here, 170-point tank, Challenger 1 Mark III, 145-point tank, and the British Commonwealth is coming to get me pretty quickly here. So we do see Anzac vehicles over on the left. That's probably going to be Commandos 90 over in Anna, and I don't really have much of a presence there yet. My Yekri are dying in the middle of the open, and my spike team unfortunately did miss, so I'm going for that Stormer, trying to get the kill, and second shot, second miss right there. Really not happy with that. You buy these spikes because they have a high accuracy stat, 65%, but a single spike firing at a time doesn't always hit, so it takes us 3 shots, or no, well, yeah, I think 3. Ah, look at that, just a second, my apologies, to hit that Stormer. 75-point kill, and it does, of course, deny a lot of capability for Ghost's units, but I need something. I need to either handle his tanks, or I need to engage somewhere else. So my reinforcements are going to be including a T-72M1 mod, which is designed to handle that Challenger 1 Mark III, and potentially the Challenger 2 if properly supported. So I'm also bringing up more ATGMs and KRKKs. This particular combo I really do enjoy, because the spike teams handle things at range, and the KRKKs can handle infantry up close. And my cat is currently biting my foot, so it's been a little while since we've had too many cat troubles while recording, but she's currently just sitting there looking at me going, nope, not time for recording, time for me to bite your foot. Hope that doesn't last all that much longer. Now, Erquez Yegri, probably not the best choice for this far forward. They don't have a tertiary, which means they can't slow down those Gurkhas, but it also does mean they're not going to be spotted. Unfortunately, my Raskas and Korima do take the brunt of that, and now we do get into zoning range, so my Pion able to shoot in. The KRKKs should be getting close, but entering tank range as well. This is a pretty awkward standoff, because if they were to push forward, my Pions would die, but if they were to push forward, my spike teams could hit their tanks, right? So there's a little bit of give and take there with this position, always a bit of a challenging one for either side to push once it's been grabbed by one side or the other. Now, we did hit that Challenger 1 Mark III, not enough for a kill. We did not see an explosion there, but hopefully it'll be enough to make my opponent here a little bit cautious. F111C, this is a great answer for it, especially because in addition to not bringing heavy tanks, I didn't bring any anti-air, so all of my points were in wheels on the ground at the start. Erquez Yekri trying to avoid that bomb, unfortunately do get caught by Fusiliers, got caught by Warriors, and all of those units that are pushing this town just over and over and over and over again inside of the first 5 minutes of this game. T-72 M1 mod getting a couple shots in, but I want that Challenger to be scared. I don't want him coming after me. If he's fresh and hasn't fired a shot yet, and my mod has, then he wins that fight, probably hands down, I'd say. Well, 21 front, 23. Yeah, the heavier armor on that Challenger 2 would make it very difficult to go in against in a 1v1. Now, I cap Fetter because ticking on Mudfight can be so incredibly useful, and if you don't have ticking point values, well, you can lose the game over a very long grind. So that's what I'm trying to do here, just force my opponent to buy a command vehicle, force the game to slow down a little bit while I figure out how to handle the situation. Now, SAS over on this side being taken out by KRKKs, this is again part of why I just love this vehicle so much. My Iroquois are moving forward enough to spot those infantry, and the KRKK able to take them out decently well. We didn't get the kill there, but down to 4 strength, down to 3 strength, we might get it here. Rolling a lot of misses, it looks like. Yeah, there's another hit. Good. And I don't know if Ghost knew how damaged everything here was, because now we do get a lull in the attempts to push this town, but it's been really expensive. The warriors, the infantry have not been cheap. KT moving up from my side, but I missed his second stormer, so I thought that it was dead. I didn't see him pull in a second one, and that's an expensive loss on my end as well. I was hoping to kill those Commandos 90. I was right about what was dropped off here earlier, but between them and the 3050's double gun, my Yekuri 90 are having a really bad time. Of course, this isn't as expensive for me as it is for him. This is just 20 points worth of standard line infantry. But apologies, the cat is getting up to no good again. Oh man. That's why I usually don't record when she's feeling a little hyper, but well, needs must. So, as you guys know, I'm not going to be around in a couple weeks, getting married, going on a honeymoon, and all that, so I'm trying to front load as much as I can. So when you guys see this recording pop up, it's probably been already recorded for about a week at this point. And the game was a little older before that as well, so just building up a stockpile, trying to make sure that I don't leave you guys without anything going up on the channel for the time that I'm gone. So Iroquois pushing forward on the right-hand side, and this is something that even standard Finland I think does very well, just spreading out the map and making sure that my opponent has to fight me on multiple different locations. We've been having the single slugfest in the middle. It was not really working out as I'd hoped it would, and so, well, we're pushing other places. The Iroquois Yekuri getting a kill there, maybe even being able to take down another Lynx H7, and look at the veterancy here. The veterancy level is 2. That probably indicates that it's a command vehicle's Lynx H, well, command infantry's Lynx AH7, just a transport. My guess is the 1%er, so that tells me, since I've already killed 1 at this veterancy, that my opponent is probably using 2 infantry CVs, 1 on Boris, 1 on center. If I had cluster, which I don't, it would mean it's a bad idea to use that cluster. So MiG-21 BIS is going over here, and this was a really goofy call. So he's already out on the field. I was calling him out to potentially take down the helicopters on that side, and the F-111C from Ghost is just starting his attack run. We do see him because of the air detection on this MiG, and here we go. So at the time we were both in voice, and he goes, where the heck did that come from? Because my MiG is flying sideways compared to the F-111C, not coming from my air spawn, and there's the kill. Unfortunately, down goes the MiG, but killing the F-111C, removing that tool, and getting the 140-point kill there, I'd say is most definitely worth it. So, pretty happy with that. Denies more bombs to my opponent. Of course, we did lose Oneko Yekuri 90 there as well, but it's just in time for more reinforcements to arrive. But this is a difficult situation. This is something that the Blue Force side can do very well. These FV-510 warriors are basically denying my reinforcement path. They're shooting in at everything. Of course, BTR-50s are 2 frontal armor, so they can take that damage decently well, but this is uncomfortable, because if he's shooting at my infantry, I'm going to be damaged from that. If he's shooting at my vehicles, I might lose infantry before they can even get into there. So I'm smoking up, and I'm using my mod as a, hey, don't come over here, I will shoot you, you won't like it, sort of tool. But it's visible, it's spotted, even though it's in the woods. I didn't like this position for very long, so we're going to be shifting our smoke over onto that mod, and then trying to make sure that I don't lose it to an ATGM plane or something similar, stupidly, which has happened to me before here, and you can see I'm moving him out. Just, yeah, no, too far forward, that's fine. We'll use him a bit more strategically with the Pion, with the other Yekuri moving forward, trying to clear out Anna from whatever it is that Ghost may have in there. Now, just in terms of keeping track of the losses on either side, I did feel kind of okay at this point for being up on the trade there, especially with the F4-111, well, with the F-111C kill. But still, it's not an ideal situation just because I don't have the armor on the field that Ghost can bring to bear. I mean, Challenger 2, 23 frontal armor, 22 AP. I'm dealing 1 damage to him at max range. Because of his 22 AP power gun, he's dealing more than that to me. Of course, probably 2 per shot at max range, which is really scary. It's not something that I knew how to deal with very well as just Finland. So that was really the main challenge of this match, was how to deal with those tanks in the middle. So spike teams are going to be fending off commandos, and even if they don't get kills on the infantry, taking out those 5-point boxes is more helpful than you might think. It really does reduce the blue 4 player's ability to send in the infantry first, send in the boxes behind them, and use those double guns on top of the boxes that we saw was so effective over near Anna to push me out of this section of building. So more Yakuti 90 here, just cheap line. I needed something to back up the spike team in case any sort of infantry worth its salt pushed in, and Yakuti 90 will surprise you as well, decently effective. Still 157. This is a mistake. So what I said earlier was that people often have forward recon in the section of Dimitri, and if we look at Ghost's position here, he does. Green jackets. Really far forward compared to the town. I can't see them at all. I don't have recon far enough forward to counterspot these guys. So what he's about to see, I believe, as I move my Comento Yukia up, is he's about to see the infantry come in. And yeah, if we just take a look at his deployment right now, he is kind of being stretched onto all sides of this map. He does see my mod there because of the green jacket, really should be moving. And yeah, there it is, Comento Yukia. This should have probably been smoked off in a broad section. So just a little bit of smoke all across the front, that way he can't see where it is that I'm ending up with my command infantry. As it is, yeah, look at that. He watched it walk in, he put an attack marker there, and it's not going to be alive for all that long. So, oh, sorry about that. It's not going to be alive for all that long. Now, Commandos 90, these guys are the ones that did lose their transports, but they're more behind them, and just the sheer persistence in taking this position was really kind of terrifying at the time, right? I mean, Yakuti 90 have at this point killed stuff worth twice their value, but Lynx H7's behind them, and I'm trying to avoid that, switching into the town block blocked by the smoke, so that Lynx H7 can't see through the smoke. It loses its ability to hit me with rocket pods at long range. It's exactly what I wanted. Well, exactly what I didn't want, rather. And now we're getting a little bit of anti-air, I-290 up on the right-hand side to fend off that helicopter response, and I'm basically saying to myself, okay, I want to push him in Anna, I want to push him into center, and I want to do both these things at the same time. So I need to figure out a way of doing that that is cheap enough, yet effective enough, that I can really put pressure on both ends of this map. Yakuti 90 sparring with the Commandos 90, but the Commandos I think might have been a little bit mispathed here. No, okay, they were going for that second block. This is brutal. But it's brutal really in both directions. The Commandos 90 will be killing my spike team pretty soon here, and probably could kill the Yakuti on their own, but I have BMP 1s, and my next rounds of reinforcements were just a little bit too slow to really fend this off entirely. But look at this, BMP 1s, 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time they shoot, it's going to be a fair amount of damage to those Commandos 90, and he's trying to avoid it, but yeah, very nice. Very, very nice. Fire support behind this town can be absolutely brutal, really on either end, but because there's no smoke blocking off my fire support, I can shoot in, and his really can't. It's one of the curses of using smoke to approach the town, really. I'm not sure of a better way to do it, but yeah. And we did lose the Comento Yukia to artillery from either center or Boris. I don't think it was the mortars, I think it was something heavier back there. Not entirely sure at the moment. So, Panzer Yakuti and Standard Yakuti, and this was really incredible. So, Panzer Yakuti 90 have 23 AP launchers, and it took 1, 2, 3 hits, 4, 5... 4 hits there for the Challenger 1 Mark III. Weapons jammed, but no kill, still at 2 strength. And I want this kill really badly. It's 145 points, and it's really just effective units to have in the tank grind behind some sort of infantry. But since it was a little isolated there, we could take him out, and that's a really big loss to the Blue 4 team. At this point, I'm just pushing back Commandos 90. I have the numbers here. I've peeled off that single expensive tank, which means everything here is paid for itself. I may as well just inflict as much as many losses as I can to the Blue 4 player, make sure that we're really getting the most out of those infantry. So 3050s make it all the way back here. My Jet Ranger has nothing to do about this. It does not have a gun, so I'm just pulling back. And I was thinking about routing some infantry farther in, but looking at this game as it is right now, I'm up by about 54 points. We have 25 minutes possible left in the game, and you can see in the slider down here that it does take the entire time. But my charioteers have arrived. I thought there might still be infantry in this town. I didn't really think that I was able to kill all the commandos, and we're just going to go forward. This is really kind of not my brightest maneuver. If I'd done this with some infantry as well, yeah, you can see the Commandos 90 shooting in. First shot is a bit of a miss, which helps me, but the reason I just decided to YOLO these charioteers in town is there's a Challenger 2 right there. I didn't have anything really in place to fend him off, and he's getting kills for free. So if he's going to sit there and pick me off, I may as well do something. And if I can retake the town, sure, fine. But best I can do. And I really want to intercept those 3050s back behind the town as well. So I want to go through here, kill anything that might be here, and then prevent reinforcements from really locking that down more than I can ever hope to take back. Mod is sparring the Challenger 2, but you can see that's not going my way very much at all, and we do get up forward in the town. Yeah, 1 point of damage. Yeah, I guess we're trading 1 point of damage for 1 point of damage, at least at the moment, or he missed. Yeah, okay, no, that's 2. So from 3 damage taken to 5 damage taken. And we're losing some charioteers to the Commandos 90, but I think we do actually manage to kill them, which surprised me a little bit at the time. Don't do this. I really don't recommend it. It's not going to work out very well for you. But it's a massive waste of points is what it boils down to. There's better ways to clear that town. And here's the other Commandos 90 moving forward. I wasn't able to intercept their transports in time, so they'll be getting into the town and demolishing my charioteers. Now you can see Ghost Smoke is designed to block off my fire support, so he saw what happened previously and he doesn't want it to be able to happen again. So I've at this point lost my toehold in Dimitri. I went from holding that town in the opener to not being able to have it in the late game just because of the repeated pressure. One set of Commandos 90 after another from Ghost, and I was kind of incredulous he still had that unit left. You only get, well, I don't know if you get 2 or 3 cards if you take it up or down vetted as well. The availability can be kind of forgiving. I usually play, if I play Commonwealth, I play Commonwealth Mech these days. So it's a little bit of a different story. You take them up vetted for the elite infantry, but you only get 9 availability per card. So I was trying to count to 18 there, and assuming you took 2 cards just like I did. And look at this, there's a Lynx coming in. Anna is not capped. The Lynx at veteran sees 2. That's a command infantry in that helicopter. That's something I don't want making it to Anna alive if I can manage it. So another MiG-21 BIS call out, and we're looking for that Lynx right now, trying to go in and get, this is well over a 100-point kill if I can kill the Lynx H7 and the command infantry inside it. Yeah, there it is, missiles away, 1 hit, 2nd hit, down he goes. We've denied my opponent the ticking score there, and we've gotten a very valuable kill, and the MiG-21 BIS got out. I was just loving these ASFs, not ASFs, I guess really helicopter hunter planes quite a bit today. And part of that reason that happened is because I was pushing on this side as well. So you send something over here, somebody starts attacking over the other side, you have your screen over this way, and you don't really see that engagement necessarily until it's too late. But Terra Musties will be taken out pretty easily by Oslov TOW2s, Stormer HVMs. This was also sort of a scouting and force mission. And one thing I want to say, these green jackets right here, they are so capable for spotting everything on my side of the field. They're down to 6 strength right now, but I was just continually annoyed by how far back my vehicles are being spotted. The ITO 90's in the woods now, it doesn't matter. Those green jackets are taking a look at them, and here comes a Kahu looking for my ITO, and the Kahu is I think it's a very nice pick, particularly because the 30 AP power is just devastating, and I lose a 90-point anti-air piece for nothing. So, yeah, we got some value over on the left side in Anna, not really a lot of value in center, a little bit of a ill-fated attack there. And these recoilless rifle, these ATGM trucks are sort of trying to get up there and make something else happen. So 12 missiles per, 24 missiles in the entire squad. These guys can fire for quite a long time and really zone out a lot of play, but they were spotted, the Stormer's moving back, and that should give me an indication. So we're going to watch this come in now for just a second. Look, they're hidden, they're hidden, they're hidden, they're visible. Those green jackets in this section of woods right here are able to just deny me a forward position in the woods that most people use for pushing into center. So really nice recon infantry placement. I'm going to be using that myself too. It's just an amazing position for those units. Challenger 1 Mark II moving up now and will be killing my BTR-50s, but my Yakri are also failing to get into the town. Commandos 90 now returning that punishment I gave to them in the early game by zoning me out of this completely. And if I'd had fire support back here, then we would have been able to do something, but my Terra Musties on that side still screened out by the blue 4 smoke. This is looking pretty rough, to be honest. So we have 21 minutes left. I only have a 54-point lead. I was trying to get another cap in Dimitri, but my first one was spotted, and I didn't want this one to be spotted as well, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge. And then there's another Lynx H7, this one on higher veterancy, that's not going to be command infantry. It will be probably recon, well, probably special forces, my guess is SAS in that Lynx, and they're very, very capable infantry there. My Panzer Yakri doing well, Edekris Yakri doing very well here, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't lose my toehold completely. And let me just say, this was a very tough game, I think, and those tend to be frustrating for both players because nothing is really going to code, at least not for very long. So, well, many thanks to Ghost for playing it. and I know I had a very good time, so I'm looking forward to playing him again in the future. Here are the SAS, your SBS Recon Special Forces for the Commonwealth, and with the vehicle in the back there, I am going to be losing my Iroquois and Panzerjäger pretty cost effectively to those Commonwealth Special Forces. XA-180, of course, for me, with that singular NSV, is not really a damage dealer type vehicle, certainly not like the KT is, so if I'd had autocannons back here, if my Pion had been farther forward, would have been able to do something to rescue that position, but I have now lost it, and with that, Anna's looking pretty grim. Fusiliers, 90, and Warriors fending me off in the center, spotting my Iroquois. I was trying to return the favor a little bit with a passive spot, but not quite able to do it. And there's a Kahu. I don't know if he was looking for my mod or if he was looking for my Pion the whole time, but another comment I just want to make. I called out lots of resupply jeeps when I still had more here, but having lost a fair amount of my tools on this side, they're really superfluous at this moment in time. What I needed was anti-air. I've needed anti-air for a long amount of time. I've needed just to put something, really just long-range anti-plane anti-air right about here, fend off everything in the major section of the map, and my buying priority was a little questionable this time. Now, I was trying to sort of play into the whole weird Finland national moment with the, of course, the 60-point ATGM jeeps, everything like that. It was definitely a little bit of a, you know what, let's be our best Finland selves that we can be. But now you can see this time I am smoking my command infantry's advance. At least for the most part, we should be able to get in here, and they should know exactly where we are, even if they have a general idea, because nothing, was spotted coming up on the left-hand side of Dmitry. But this is entirely to forestall a ticking war score for my opponent. I don't want to be doing this. It's not well supported, but it needs to happen. It's part of the pressure that can really be just cranked on this map when one side or the other has map control. So I bought a command infantry out of fear that he would. And there's a Lynx H7 moving up. We did also, well, no, that's going to be carrying more special forces. It's a higher veterancy. We did see a command chieftain moving this way. Now, I wasn't sure if it was going to Dmitry or Anna. Anna is generally the safer pick, I'd say, without a really forward position Dmitry, but he has it, because he has the town in the center, he has infantry or something far enough forward to capture my resupply jeeps, and that just really hurt. So at this point, I'm sitting there going, I've been sparring with that Challenger 2 all game. I've been unable to secure this position all game. You know what? That's fine. Let's just pull back. I don't really want to fight here. If I can keep this section of Dmitry, and I can push into center, maybe that's an alternative win condition. It's not a clean one by any stretch, and there's a Command Chieftain Mark 10, maybe even a second buy looking for Dmitry and Anna, which I definitely agree with at this point in the game. That's +1 for him, right? So he countercaps Dmitry, I lose my +1, he caps Anna, that gets him a +1, and I'm going to be having a very bad day. Now, the one silver lining is Panzerjäger 90 over on the side. Very, very capable troops. They do, of course, carry the Apolos, the KK-62, and the RK-90 TP primary weapon, which I'm not sure that their tertiary, the machine gun, is the best, but it certainly isn't bad, and, well, with shock training, these are somewhat capable troops, usually better against vehicles and tanks than they are against infantry killing infantry, shall we say, like Corps Mariner or something like that. But they're in the back line in Anna, and I was basically waiting for this to get capped, and then hoping to sweep his back line. A little bit of a mean tactic, but one that you'll definitely see done to you. So if you're playing on the Blue 4 side, I really recommend have something over here to screen. Maybe a cheap unit of infantry, 5-point box, something over there just to make sure that nothing's going to do this to you, because when it happens, it's very unfortunate. And he's done exactly what I said. There's a counter cap in Dmitry, there's a +1 in Anna, and he's going to close that gap pretty quickly. It's only going to take about 5 minutes for him to match my score here at 76 points to his 5, which +1, of course, gives you 150 points per 10 minutes. So, Spike team moving up, Iroquois still alive, and I'm trying to put pressure on center, but this is traditionally a really tough push for me. It's very close to the Blue 4 air spawn, which means he has rapid response available. It's really close to his land reinforcement zone. They just basically drive right down here and across on this highway, and it's pretty far from mine, so my reinforcements have to go all the way across here. They have to take that straightaway, they have to come up around the side. It's nearly double the length, I'd say, of just time between the buy and the position, which is pretty brutal for a long sustained push. Now, the ATGM vehicle is trying to just dodge and move and make sure I'm not pinned down by whatever it was that was spotting me at this point. I had forgotten about the green jackets. I thought they were maybe dead or something, and this is brutal. Stormer missing his first shot, and my ATGM vehicles take advantage of it. So when he fires, he's spotted, and we get the kill. Now, that probably should have been a 1-to-1 trade there. I'd say the Stormer landing his first shot, and my vehicle is landing their first shot, which would go slightly 15 points in my favor, but losing that Stormer now means that the Chieftain Mark 11s have nothing to protect them, so, well, other than my bad accuracy on these vehicles. Let's take a look in 14 frontal armor, 1-2 hits, and it's gone. So 80-point tank traded for one of these vehicles. Works well enough for me. Of course, Kahu is still a pain in my keister, and that trade ends up being a bit more even than I was hoping for it to be, particularly after the Stormer kill, where I was thinking, okay, now's my time to exploit this a little bit, let's put some pressure on. But as I said, we're very close to his air reinforcement line, and that Kahu is a pretty cheap option, very capable for what he needs right now in this game. So KPI is really too far forward. I had basically no infantry left on this side, nothing to really act as screening, other than, if you notice, this Musty is spotted, which means there's something probably in this curve of woods. So I have Raskas and Korima to sort of fend off an attack to get into this town. If blue gets into this town, I'm just toast. I lose my hold on Dimitri entirely, I lose any chance of recapturing Anna, and he can threaten Elena. So that is where those stakes are, and I'm just trying to make sure he's not going to circle around either. So I have SU-57-2s, Raskas and Korima, Musties, really defensible position there, and a really big screen for my troops. So 21 BIS is out here looking for any plane that I can get, but the answer is a Hornet from Ghost, which, yeah, it's not the cheapest, it's 130 points, but it will be able to kill my BIS if I'm not careful and or lucky or both. There it is, there's the kill, and the Hornet gets out scot-free because, once again, I have no anti-plane, anti-air anywhere over here. Yeah, so, well, didn't really work out as well as I'd hoped. And here comes the plane that I was hoping to kill. That's a Kahu again, and the MiG-21 BIS would be able to take that guy down. So that's the target I wanted, the target that I had, maybe not quite so good for me. Lynx 3 here from Ghost, and you gotta sort of imagine, when I'm worried about this attack into Elena, he's probably worried about the same thing of pushing into Boris, because this can be really devastating. The Panzer by the way, did kill command vehicle over in Anna, and we've stopped the +1 tick, so 13 minutes left in the game. Very narrow margin of victory here. Just stopping Anna isn't going to be enough. I need to put pressure on something that I can't currently do. But Renako Yekuri will kill Green Jackets pretty cost effectively, and KTs in the woods should be able to kill some of these tools, provided the Lynx 3 doesn't take them both out. But there's one, Lynx H7 still alive, and my Renako clearing out this position just enough to give me an inkling of a plan. So F-18 C-Buy as well, just trying to fend off everything that he'd been using here. The Kahus, what was the other one? The cheaper ASF there for Commonwealth. And I really did enjoy the amount of work that that vehicle was able to do. So one of these Fusiliers 90 is healthy, the other one down to 2 strength because its infantry fighting vehicle died with the Fusiliers still inside. But my paves are spotted, so again, just the Green Jackets really close to these woods means that I can't have anything here. And paves are very fragile for their front armor. They need to get in, get their value, and then when they die, it's not the end of the world. By the way, Command Chieftain is spotted here for the Blue 4 team, and I think he's shooting. These were captured resupply Jeeps, the HLVWs from the Blue 4 team, and he's just killing them so that I can't send them out to spot. But that does tell me where his Command Chieftain ends. So information's always good. Slight reposition, always good there from the Blue 4 player as well. So if your command tank has to shoot, don't leave him in the same place, he might get clustered. I, of course, didn't have those tools available, but it's just good practice. If you think to yourself, oh, well, they won't have the answer to this, sometimes they do. Here comes a Kahu looking for my paves. Smoke is a little bit too late, by which I mean it's not even on the board, and down goes a pave. Of course, we do get 0 hits on the Kahu on his way out as well, and this was the point where I finally said to myself, you know what, this is just unacceptable. I'm at this point kind of throwing the game a little bit by not having anti-air and being this close to his air spawn, just losing value over and over and over again. It really just was not something I could have continue. Eriko's Yekuri though, 1-2, do take down a Lynx 3, that's a little bit of revenge, 100-point helicopter there, and my Rock 91 was meant to stun everything, to allow my Panzer Yekuri 90 to 1, be forgotten about, and 2, get into the town between Center and Dimitri. Now, their whole intention here is to disrupt anything resupplying into Center, and hopefully maybe even be able to attack the command vehicle in Dimitri, because I need a +1 tick. This is a really close margin. It's pretty crazy. So, Pave still alive, Smoke coming in now, Charioteers pushing forward, and finally meeting no resistance, but annoyingly not able to spot those Green Jackets that are still there. Look, they're right here, but my Charioteers are nearly blind with bad optics, and I basically have to face check them in order to get my guns online, which really sucks. because the charioteers are this far forward. I don't see any of his recon, and my pave is spotted in the woods again. Just, oh, every single time, I swear. Here comes the Kahu, looking for that kill, and we're going to be backing up, trying to get into the smoke before the Kahu can get there, which, yeah, okay. We lose this, the spot right there, and the Kahu goes after a charioteer instead. That, finally, is something that I'm kind of okay with. F-18C, I'm a little bit late response with my planes usually. Something I need to learn to get better at, but I just take too long to make the decision that I need them. But the Rescue Korima and the Pion did fend off some Commandos 90 on this side. So far we've been holding, but that did sort of tell me, hey, I need more recon over here, so we're going to be bringing a unit of Iroquois, which also just gives me a second line against helicopters now that I've moved my Ito 90 from the left side of the board over to the right side of the board. Here comes Challenger 1 Mark II, and Ghost does not want me into center. He knows what I'm trying to do here by now. It's been more than long enough for him to be well aware that this is what I want to do. This is how I want to win the game. I want to get a +1 by getting into center deep enough to cap that zone. Panzer Yekri 90 nearly within range, but not quite, of that command tank, and unfortunately, when I turned on their Apolos, I had all the guns off, they fire at a mortar instead. So he's going to be moving that tank away from Dmitry, which gives me a temporary +1. This is potentially game-winning here, depending on how long I can keep it, and had to be kind of annoying, frankly. It's just, oh hey, plot twist, shock infantry in your backline right next to your other command vehicle after killing the command vehicle in Anna. And keep in mind too, we killed command infantry in a helicopter. I think he might have even been running low on those just because of continued attrition. And the pave, targeted by the Kahu, got out the first time, not able to get out the second time, and hopefully we do get the Kahu. So 120 point tank, 125 point plane, I guess that's the silver lining, but it's nowhere near what I wanted to have happen in this match. So F-18C does get out. It also does show me that there's a little bit of anti-air in this section of woods. Kind of made me wonder, should I take the Panzer Yekri, maybe smoke off this section right here, and dive into the square forest? But at 12 strength, if he had any full strength shocks, if he had even Fusiliers 90 with any sort of support, that's going to be just dead, maybe even in the open before they can get in there. So I'm just saying, you know what, that's fine, I'll live in this little section of town, and will attract his attention. So more warriors coming in, more infantry coming in to that town to clear me out, and it's a lot of reinforcements going somewhere that really Blue 4 can ill afford to have right now, which was my whole intention. This is a lot of points on the board, and all of mine are going into this push right here, while he's going into something on the other side of the map. It does look like the Command Chieftain went over to Anna, does turn off that +1, but that's another 20 points for me. So we've been able to just slowly increment value upward and upward and upward. Ooh, Totu. Yeah, there's the kill. Very nice. Pretty expensive tank there, and I was pretty happy with these ATGM vehicles. Yeah, we got a little lucky there. Possibly should have been dead to direct fire, but sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. You miss your shot, especially when tanks are at 1 strength and they're a little worried, they're a little unhappy, they lose accuracy and all of that, and my Panzer Yekri are not going to be alive for very long. So lots of warriors. We did get a couple more kills on, I think, some transports here with the Apolos, but yeah, this is a herd. There's nothing I can do about that, really, at all. So I'm just trying to draw it out as long as I can, make sure that they're fighting for as long as possible, while I have Iroquois Yekri that went up here, crossed the river, and got into this section of town. And these guys have Iglas. They can take out things like the Bell 206. Here's a potential answer, and this... oh man, failed to drop. So that'll happen sometimes when you're too close to your air zone. They won't have time to aim the bombs. And because of that, the F-111C flew right over, evac ordered, and does get out, because again, jeez, just consistent failure to bring an answer to planes. But I was hoping to get something there with the I-290. We heard him, and we heard him potentially badly enough that he won't really be a factor until maybe a minute left or so. I'm not really good on calculating the air resupply times in my head, but Iroquois Yekri moving forward, just going to deny any helicopters that are brought out here if I can. Renako Yekri and more KTs. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Now seems like a pretty good time. Raskas and Korima and Musties, because Finland national push, here we come. And I think it's just really goofy pushing with these guys. They're 5 strength, but they have 1400 meter range, and they can't be targeted by things like TOW2s, so there's very little way of screening them out with infantry. Really tanks the answer because they killed them very quickly, but it didn't really look like that was an option for the Blue 4 player right now. He is pushing into Dmitry as well. He's going to be trying to shake me on this side as the center push commences, and we will lose musty vehicles, but this is the goofy thing. They're very fast. They hit decently hard, 16 AP power. The TOW2 has 1 frontal armor, which should mean, I believe, we get a kill with 1 hit. so long as I can spot them. Now, I don't have any recon. I have a Copa headed up here. We finally spot the green jackets just by getting right in their face. And look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 recoilless rifles all at once, but also taking out the TOW 2 with the KTs and the Musties here, and we have space. So I have a Copa. We're going to be able to countercap center for just a little bit, and with 5 minutes left, getting a +1 tick is going to be really difficult for my opponent to deal with here, so long as I can keep the Copa alive. So I went to this position, I stopped for a second, and I'm smoking this position while moving the Copa into the woods. I'm trying to make him think that he has to shoot here, instead of where my Copa actually is. Of course, this is barely armored, the Copa 1 armor all around. It's some insurance against HE, but really just not that much. I can't count on this guy taking a lot of fire, but it looks like center was pretty clear, and this is what I was saying earlier with the reinforcements going to the other side. If they come here, if there were warriors, if there were infantry, those musties would never make it this far in. The Reskas and Kurima would never make it that far in. A couple of last-minute hawks, by the way, trying to keep my Commento Yugia alive, but even if I lose them now, well, we're going to be at 0 because of the countercap in center. So 110 points to 47, and we have just a couple minutes left in this game. It doesn't quite go to time. I've been told before I have an annoying playstyle, and I think this is a prime example of it, just this sort of push. It's never my intention to make the game stressful for people, far from it. And I just want to say, once again, thank you for Ghost for the game. I had a really good time. So KT's taking out Highlanders in the open. Brutal response there. Just in that last couple minutes where, well, point efficiency doesn't matter as much as position. I can't lose this whole side. At least it would be a little uncomfortable if I did. So Hawk Bombers, KTs, trying to just delay and shoot everything that I can here. Answered by a Stormer that does get both kills, but this is an optical failure in the Challenger 2. It means you really can't shoot. My T-72 M1 mod, finally sensing blood in the water here, is looking for this tank kill after the entire game of not being able to get it. One shot, one hit, second shot, second hit, which is actually pretty lucky considering the mod's bad stabilizer, but at higher ranges, that Challenger 2 really didn't take much damage there. Now, Erquez and Renico on this side are attacking his reinforcement line, because, you know, why not at this point? It will come in right about here, and if I can get just a bit closer, I probably should have snuck up in the diagonal, gotten to about there, but I'm not sure. I think they don't, yeah, they spawn in here, so not so far back. But at Palas at close range on the reinforcement line, and that is going to be pretty much GG there. Very hard to recover from this. Even if the Erquez die, I have Ranoko Yekiri on this side as well, and the fact that they're able to shoot at, well, IFVs, but also handle the damage infantry that pops out. Apologies for the sirens if you guys can hear those in the background. Looks like a pretty big emergency. I hope everyone is alright. And the Renoku Yekiri 90 dealing with the Challenger 1 Mark III. This was the icing on the cake, so watch what happens here. Apolos shoots in, firing computer reset on the first hit. That has to hurt, because otherwise the Challenger 1 Mark III could probably have stunned the Ranoko, might well have survived there, and that's going to be the game. So kills losses 3275 to 2775, and lots of those kills for me came at the end. So killing that expensive tank in the backline, killing some reinforcements, all of that was very helpful to get that slight edge over Ghost here in this game. MiG-21 BIS, definitely an MVP, taking out the Lynxes and F-111Cs, and then the second BIS I want to find here as well. It killed a Lynx, killed an HQ section, and if I hadn't lost it stupidly, could have taken out probably a Kahu or a bomber if used aggressively and in coordination with the true air superiority fighter for Finland. Well, that's going to be all we've got. Ooh, no. Here's the ATGM vehicle. Stormer, Chieftain Mark 11, Centurion Aver, 2 Warriors, Challenger 1 Mark II. Beautiful return on investment for this guy. I only wish that his friend had also survived. That's going to be all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.